Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Battlefield Alliance first official live stream here. I'm joined by my co-owners and good buddies, Jeff and Clay. Real quick, this is an idea I came up with about 9 months ago, and I ran it by myself for about 6 to 8 months and realized if I wanted to take this thing as far as I could go, I heard a quote that said, if you want to go far, or if you want to go quick, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That quote stayed in my mind for about 2 days. And I realized to take this thing to the level that I'm sure it is capable of achieving, I needed to get some partners on board. So I reached out to Jeff and Clay. I was like, hey, guys, you want to take this thing to a whole new level? Here's what we're all about. And they joined right away. And here we are. It's about to go down, and we're excited about the future of the growth of this company. And Jeff, Clay, welcome, brothers.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah. Appreciate it.
100% happy to be here. Pete Primo tuning in live on the event. Yes, here we go. In fact, so broadcasted this out on some of my channels. As Matt said, we're here, the three of us together as the leadership team from the Battlefield Alliance to kind of give you an idea of what we're doing, really dig into what we're all about and what we're offering to new members and even existing members for that fact. The thing about entrepreneurship, right, is we all kind of start out, and I'm going to be kind of leading our discussion, and I'll be tossing these questions to Clay and to Matt and maybe back to me, and then we'll kind of move on through our dialogue. And, the thing about entrepreneurship is we all get to start, right? That's the beauty of where we live in America. If there's an idea we have and there's a market that exists, we can take it to that market, and the market tests it and says yes or no. But the difference between, like that first start, that first side hustle to being an entrepreneur is really what I call like kind of being baptized into business, right? And there's a promise that comes with that baptism, I believe. That promise of entrepreneurship, that promises freedom, money, and status. So the very first thing I'll throw to Matt and to Clay is, where do you feel that entrepreneurs miss it in cementing that promise of being baptized into entrepreneurship? Where do they miss cementing that dream, that promise of being an entrepreneur, of freedom, money, and status?
Clay, you want to take that one first?
Yeah, I'll take that one first. I think one of the things that we miss is our own personal development. I think a lot of times, we get so ingrained into a lot of the business aspects. We start diving into a lot of these different things, and we forget about us. When we look at the oxygen mask on an airplane, you got to put it on yourself first, and we got to take care of ourselves first. So that's physically, that's mentally, that's spiritually, that's financially, that's all those different pieces that kind of come together to say, hey, who are you and why do you do what you do? I always go back to purpose. Purpose is something that is huge in my life, and just having that meaning, because when a lot of times when we get into the business realm and looking at that freedom, that money, that status, a lot of times like, you don't feel motivated. But motivated comes when action occurs. Inspiration is what gets you moving and continues to get you started every single day. So I always think about it this way: is every single day we got an opportunity to step across the line and leave it on the field. And that opportunity to grow ourselves, to grow our business, to grow our communities, to connect, grow, and lead is hugely important. So for me, I think where they lose it is that personal connection with self. And once you develop that, then it just rotates into everything else that we have.
Yeah, I'm going to take a different approach. I 100% agree with everything Clay just said. For me, I think it's the long game. People's lack of awareness that this is a long game. There's all those get rich quick schemes. There's the shiny egg over there that you want to reach for every time a new idea pops up. It's to get freedom, to get money, to get all those things, status, you got to go through a long grind to get there. Like, you can't just start a business and then day two be like, oh, my schedule is going to be work 3 days a week because that's why I'm an entrepreneur, is I want freedom and I'm going to create that for myself. Like, it took us, Roda Marketing, years and years and years. We're into 13 years now. It probably took 8, 9, even 10 years before I could start actually dictating my schedule and choosing what days I wanted to work, what days I didn't want to. So I feel like, getting into business, that first start, that plunge forward, you got to realize it's a long game. You're not going to achieve your success overnight. It's not even probably going to happen in the first couple of years. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to suffer a little bit. But if you stick with it and you see it through to the end, that's when you get to those levels that you've dreamed of from day one.
And I'm going to combo block what both Matt and Clay said. That's starting out. you got a lot of people in your corner. They're going to typically support you, but they support you through buying the thing or engaging in your service. And that is support. But Clay, what you said, man, that oxygen mask, what a powerful image that just resonates, right? Flight attendant always says, put down your oxygen mask first, even if you're carrying your own 6-month child, right? You gotta take care of yourself. That personal development aspect is spot on. And Matt, with what you said, it does take time, and no matter how committed you are to the game, that 10-year mark is a magical number for a lot of people. The multitude of business owners, successful people I've come across, there is something magic about that 10-year number, whether it's more control in the next venture, whether it's quicker scale in the next venture, whether it is that wealth creation, whether it is that status in the community, or a combination of things, it is that number. Really, I think what it comes down to is smart entrepreneurs, smart business owners, they kind of figure out that there's a roadmap to this, right? There's a guide. And if they can follow that guide, and if they can get with the right people, they connect and they can grow and they can better lead themselves. And that's really a key to success. So, I thought we'd kind of go through this roadmap as I see it of what I like to call successful entrepreneurship. So to me, the very first thing, and it's one of our core values about the Battlefield Alliance. It's that successful entrepreneurs seek to build something bigger than themselves, and that core value being give more than we take. So I would look to you guys. So the first part of our roadmap being successful entrepreneurs seek to build something bigger than themselves. What are you guys doing? Where do you see that that's a successful part of the system for an entrepreneur to get success?
I'll jump in here, Clay. So that's one of the things I love most about Roda marketing is we make decent money, we make good money, but the ultimate joy that I get out of this specific business that we run is the amount of success we create for other people. And I've always said that, someone spends $30,000 with us for the year, whatever that number is, and they make 10 times that amount. That gives me a lot of peace and joy knowing that I'm helping someone else be more successful in business, because then they get to take their family on vacations, or they get more freedom, they get more time, whatever success looks like to them. I play an integral role in that by helping them market their business properly. And then for the Battlefield Alliance, the reason I started that entire thing last May or June, whatever it was to create more leaders. At the end of the day, it was just can the connections potentially help me grow my business? Sure. Ultimately, if someone joins and they're remembering, hey, can you do a website? Can you handle my SEO? Cool. I'll do that for them. I'll help them grow their business that way. But ultimately, the main primary focus of this whole venture is to create more leaders that go out and create more leaders that go out and create more leaders. And we create this massive positive ripple effect across the universe, starting in our local communities, and then just watching the growth happen on a massive scale. That's a major win for me. That's the only win I'm looking for.
Yeah, and you kind of stole my thing there, Matt. I was going to talk about ripples, which is great because you just see the collective thoughts of everybody here. And we want those ripples. Those ripples are important for us to be able to put out those different things in the universe, in our communities, in our families, in ourselves. And for me, it all comes back to us. I think being an entrepreneur and giving more than you take is about having a servant's heart, and having that servant's heart, not only with your heart, but with your head as well. Those two pieces together, connected very well, allows you to go serve your client, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's anything out there, is to be able to serve others to better their life. Our goal is to help people be happier and healthier, to have businesses that are happier and healthier, individuals happier, healthier, because a happier, healthier person is a happier, healthier leader. And when we lead and put that ripple of leadership out in the world, man, that's just able to expand. Just think about generation after generation after generation of leaders that we can build, but that ripple effect that comes in there. So for me, given that value of looking at give more than take, it's about having a servant's heart. One of the things that we do with the Purpose Infused Brotherhood and the 3M Fit Dad system is really working on your body, because your body is the temple. I would say your temple, maybe it's your but it's basically, it holds everything in your life. So what does that look like? It holds your mind. It allows you to go serve your clients even better. It allows you to be able to wake up with that energy to go after your business. In business, we also have ups and downs, that ebb and flow of peaks and valleys. Having yourself centered on your purpose, your body's right, your mind's right, your family's right, your business is right, and flowing in the right direction just allows you to go out and create not just ripples, but waves. And I think that's what the purpose, the purpose of the Battlefield Alliance is to create those waves of leaders that go out and create other leaders. And that's one of our biggest goals is to expand that exponential growth for leaders.
Yeah. I mean, I love that we touched on that, like the ripple effect of creating more leaders. I think we're at a point in society where we need more active thinkers. We need people who are more discerning, who have better skills of judgment and leadership. And if we can impact that as a group, the three of us, which there's three leaders here, which is something very special to me. And we'll touch on this more as we get later on in our time together, that there is three distinct voices, three distinct personalities, mindsets, attitudes, mantras leading this initiative in the Battlefield Alliance. But yet we're all individual, but we can come together. And one commonality between all of us is we do seek to lead, we do seek to create other leaders, but most importantly, we're seeking to make something bigger than ourselves. And I mean, for me, that's why I came together with these other two great guys. And I think we're really on to something. So that's kind of like waypoint number one, as we see the successful roadmap for entrepreneurs, is that they build something bigger than themselves. Kind of dovetailing into that, Clay, you said about your mind. I think listening is a big part. So I'm going to turn it over to you first. I think listening is a big part of success as an entrepreneur and as a business owner.
Yeah.
And not to turn this spiritual, but it can be listening to God. That's perfectly okay. If religion isn't necessarily your thing, I do think you should be tuned into whatever you believe is greater than you here on earth. I think it's an extremely selfish thing to think otherwise. And you can believe in whatever that is. That's a whole other conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But listening to others, listening to intuition, taking that time in your head for meditation, the belief that something above us is greater than us, I think is really important. Matt, I think you touched on this about being heart-led. So Clay, I'll turn it to you first about how do you see listening as that second waypoint of being a key in an entrepreneur's success?
I think listening, many times we go right to our audio, we go right to our hearing. But listening is really just about the universe. It's listening to yourself. And the word that comes to mind for me, which is one of the most important things that I believe any human can do, is create awareness. And that awareness is listening to your body. It's listening to your mind. It's listening to your clients. It's listening to your spouse. It's listening to your kids. It's listening to the universe. It's listening to your spiritual connection with whatever that may be for you. Like, so that listening is that awareness. And when we create awareness in ourselves, not only in one aspect, it allows us to expand our awareness in other aspects. What I really believe, and we've talked about this before, and we've talked about it with other members, is that the more we become aware, the more we know we need to become more aware. And that is just awesome because it opens up the door. It's like awareness is like the key to the door of success, the key to the door of gratitude, to the key to the door of whatever it is that you want to put out there. But creating that awareness in self first, and then an awareness internally first, and then externally second, allows you to build different awesome things in your life. And I think one of the biggest things it creates is gratitude. And waking up with an attitude of gratitude will just expand, and I think it's cool is that the awareness of Matt, who you are, Jeff, who you are, and the awareness to know what the Battlefield had before to what it is now to allowed us to be able to create this space for other entrepreneurs, not only personally, but professionally, create a huge amount of awareness in their lives. And I'm just excited for all of our members currently, all the members that are coming, our connection level and our growth level members. I'm just so excited for the awareness that we'll create and the conversations around that we'll have, and the impact and a ripple that it will make in our world and their communities.
Yeah, and for me, listening, it's twofold. There's, which we've talked about before, behind closed doors, and then also with our group and our members. There's listening to actually absorb what's being shared with you, and then there's listening to wait for a pause where you can quickly jump in because you just hear your own voice and your own words and your own conversation internally going over and over again. You're just waiting for that moment where you're like, okay, it's my turn to start talking. If that's listening to you, you got to take a step back, really dig deep and stop doing that. And really, when you're with somebody, you're 100% listening to the words that they're sharing with you. You're absorbing the message that's coming through. And I'm guilty as charged. Like, I don't do that well, and I catch myself doing that. And Clay, to your point of awareness, like, the more you catch yourself doing that, the better you become at it. It's a skill that must be developed. And then when, that's me with somebody else or me with a group of people. And then I loved your answer, Clay, because it was like the awareness part of it. For me, one of my core values is listening to my intuition. Like, I have to trust my gut. I have to follow my heart. It's always led me in the right direction. And each morning I go through my mantras, and that's one of them, is like, trust your intuition. It's never led you in the wrong direction. And the more you listen to it and the more you trust it, the more it'll lead you in the right direction. And for me, there's something spiritual about knowing what the answer is without seeking the answer. Like, the answer is always in you. It's just a matter of you being deeply connected enough with yourself to know what that answer is. And then having the guts to follow through with it and not let your mind take over and justify the reason for going over here when your instinct says go over here. Yeah.
Yep. Love all of that. I'll kind of add some of my thoughts to this topic as well, rather than just asking the question. I'll start off about the act of listening and being it's something greater than us. If you would challenge that there is something greater than yourself out there, I'd suggest this exercise. Go on a nice day, lay down, comfortable place somewhere in your house, whether that's your bed, your living room floor. Just meditate for 10 minutes. Do the same thing outside in the daylight, in a nice patch of grass. And you tell me if you don't feel that difference. You don't feel that vibrational energy. What is that? It's not just the earth and the dirt, right? There is a connection, and there is a way to listen. And I think that's a really great grounding exercise to see that there is something greater than us out there. And that when we're mindful and thoughtful about that, we can then consider, our talents are really being put to us, not for us, but for others, right? Kind of to Matt, your point about if you're just listening to listen and get your point across, you're not really listening. If you're just using your talent to put money in your bank account, yeah, that's going to work, but it's not going to be a force multiplier. It's not going to be 10x or 100x of what it could be if you put it forth for others. And so the things that happen to us are for us to demonstrate to others. And I think that's a really important aspect of listening, that we take what we hear and put it forward. And, getting around the right groups of people in the right environments, similar to my lay on the grass analogy. You might think that's really weird. Like, if you know me in my personal life, like, you don't think of Jeff as somebody that does that, but I do it, and I've done it. And, a lot of people would be surprised to know that I'm very concerned about nature, yet I drive a big old F-150 truck. The reality is that when we listen and when we get in the right environments, or we get in the right rooms with the right people, magic really happens. And I'm going to put our wonderful producer, Chris, at Cast Ahead. If you need anything, video production, podcast production, mainly, well, podcast production is what Chris does. Chris and his team at Cast Ahead are the people to work with. But Chris, I'm going to put you on the spot because we want to show you some examples of really the way we've dialed up what we're doing in the Battlefield Alliance. So Chris, clip number 5, I think now is the right time to share that one about listening and being in the right spot at the right time.
To hear this talk today, crying again. So thank you so much for your time, Lisa.
Well, Carrie, I gotta tell you, like, number one, I have like full body, like full blown, like just angel bump tingles all over my body. And that level of authenticity, I want to share something that if I may, about that and just how beautiful that is.
So that clip may feel like it cut a little early, and it did out of privacy for our members in the moment. But that call with Lisa Marie Platsky, it's a connection of mine. If you follow me on social media at a personal level, you'll see Lisa and I talking a lot. Her and I are very deeply connected. She's one of my personal coaches. But, the fact that I reached out to her, Matt, that had to be 5 or 6 weeks in advance of the call, maybe
Yep.
more. I reach out to her, that much time transpires, those members get on the line. And there was another, I believe Billy had the same sentiments, if my memory is serving me correct. When you think about all the things that happen in the time and in the network that I have, and the people that I could have asked to speak that month in April, it was for, or no, March, I think it was for us. All the things that happen in that time to bring everybody together in that moment, it isn't just coincidental, it's intentional. And when you take that opportunity to get around the right people, it is easier to listen. It is easier to take things in and to discern, okay, maybe there's something greater for me. I think that's a very powerful part of being a successful entrepreneur. Anything to add before we move on there?
Yeah, real quick, the comment you made about Billy, that was his sentiments. He was basically like, I had such a tough day. Part of me was just like, I'm ready to clock out at 3:00 and just call it a day. I don't want to jump or need to jump on this call. And he's like, but something in me was just like, just jump on this call, like just be part of this group, be part of this call. And by the end of it, he was like, thank God I was on this call, because the powerful message that she shared with all of us, important to all of us, was life changing. And like, we all in the room virtually were like, holy crap, like that was probably one of the most powerful hours that I've spent. It positively impacted my life. I reached out to her afterwards and profusely thanked her. But yeah, it was Billy listening to his intuition and trusting that, like, do I want to do this? No, but like my gut saying do it, jump on. And the benefit that it provided to him was probably, more than he could put into words.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say too, it's the power of the people. You know what I mean? It's power of people that allow you to have the conversations that you really need to have, that you are able to just dive into the different topics, whether it's personal, whether it's business, whether it's employees, whether it's clients, be able to service, because it's just a servitude heart there, and be able to have that. So the conversations that you're able to have with people that are like-minded are completely different from having conversations with people who are not like-minded or don't know what you're kind of really going through in those business trials or personally.
Yep. So we seek to build something greater than ourselves. We listen and we respect that intuition. We might meditate. We get in the right groups, in the right rooms with people. So we have the opportunity to listen and really, which dovetails into that third point I want to make about having reverence for that opportunity and the opportunities that we're given each day. Like if you truly believe in the spiritual aspect of things, take stock and be grateful for where your soul sits in the body you're in today, right now. Right? Because your soul could be, a farm animal in a pen. Like, right? I mean, am I wrong in that statement? And so I think really practicing gratitude and having reverence for those opportunities we're given each day is important as an entrepreneur. So I'll flip that to you guys. Have you guys put your spin on it? Obviously, I've got some things to say, but I'll have you guys pick it up.
Yeah, so I just shared a social media post the other day. I was meditating in the morning, and I have a timer from 10 minutes down and things a couple different intervals, so I know where I'm getting to when it gets close to the end. And I opened my eyes and I looked at it. It was at 40 seconds, and I got like mesmerized by this stupid timer. And it was like 40, 39, 38. And I just had this moment of realization that I was like, we're all on borrowed time. Like I very well could have had a heart attack at 33 seconds and died. Like it could have been the last 7 seconds of my life watching that timer. And it just made me realize, like, some of us have decades left to live. Some of us have years. Some of us have months, days, hours, seconds. Like you do not know when your time is going to get called. And for me, that awareness, and I think I said this in my post, like it's a sin in my books, knowing that my time could get called at any minute, not to live life to the absolute fullest on every single day, as many moments in every day as possible. Now I get distracted and I get pulled out of the moment, and like I'm not sitting here saying like I'm fully present every second of every day and being super grateful, but knowing that it could all end tomorrow, tonight, later, like by the end of this call, I'm like, man, like if I wake up and Clay, I already know what your answer is going to be. And I love it about getting off the bed and seeing that line. But like, if you get up every day and you don't thank God or your, higher power, whatever it is, that you've got another day to breathe and to accomplish something and to help others and do something positive in the world, you're missing the point. Like, you, not to be like you're wasting space and you're taking up oxygen that you shouldn't be taking up, but kind of you're wasting space and taking up oxygen you shouldn't, because there's people that didn't wake up this morning that would give anything for this last 24 hours of this day. So I think gratitude is huge. You have to practice it, and it doesn't even have to be specific things. It's just the fact that you're living and breathing. And Jeff, the reason I laughed about the barn animal is we drive to and from Helen's parents' house, and they live out in Lebanon. We pass a couple farms. I quite often look at a farm and see a cow just like sitting there or standing there grazing. And I'm like, thank God I'm not a cow. Like, how boring would it be to just like literally be standing there chewing grass all day, every day? And like, and I'm driving a car. I've got my beautiful family. I've got businesses, friends. Like, I have all these blessings. And this cow is like chewing grass, like getting its udders, pulled for milk. I'm like, thank you, God, for making me a human being. So I 100% agree with you, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Right there with you. Did we maybe lose Clay? Not sure.
The cat unplugged his computer.
Yeah. Fluffy the cat. Well, I'll go and then and we'll keep moving on. That's the power of live. Yeah, it looks like we lost Clay. He'll jump back on. But to me, reverence for the opportunity, I look at it as a different perspective. And this is what's so unique about the three of us on our team coming together. The benefits of the three of us, we all have unique dynamics, but we're all circling the idea in the same way. For me, to that cow analogy, we don't have to work in that cubicle, right? We don't got to be stuck in that fence, just grazing and being given what's given, accepting what's being given to us. I've never begged for a raise annually in my life. I've always gotten to write my own checks, call my own shots, but I don't forget, that without the work, without input from others, without guidance from others, if I was just trying to go this alone, I would quickly build a house where it's just me within it. Right. And that would even mean my own family being shut out. Right. Like, it all goes back. If you follow this roadmap, it applies everywhere. The first step, right, is building an impact greater than ourselves. Well, family speaks to that. If we don't listen, no one's going to want to be around us. And if we're not grateful for the opportunities we have each day and focus on the opportunities that we have and really take control of them, understanding that a 40-second clock, as Matt said, is ticking down. So we better use every second in every moment that we can. It's really important that we recognize that. Clay, any thoughts to add on this topic about the reverence and gratitude for the opportunities we're given?
Man, I'm going to go right in with the sword version, guys. And I know you're all right with it. But here's the sword version, is that this morning, all around the world, millions of people didn't wake up. And that's what we got to really understand, is that millions of them did not wake up, but we did. So we got the opportunity to go after today. That's why every single day when I wake up in my bed, my eyes open. I'm like, yes, like this is today. When I walk through the hallways, I'm an educator as well. So I walk through the hallways and people see me in the morning, like, how's it going? I'm like, great, I woke up. And one person said to me the one time, they said, well, that's kind of morbid. And I'm like, why? I'm like, that's the thing. Literally.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you, Clay. Maybe why don't you I think your connection there with your computer is a little bogged down. I'm not sure, but we were getting about every 10th word of a half of a word there. We'll move on, and I'll let you kind of work with that. Maybe restart and close down some programs. That can always help. So the next point to me, and again, this is, I think, really important, is inviting in and striving, reaching for miraculous events. the things that they say we can't do and the things that we say won't happen, we need to push for and strive and work towards. And I think that happens faster. It happens more efficiently. It happens more profitably. There's more ease to it when we're with the right people, right? Like if nobody pushed for miracles, like we would have never gone to the moon. We wouldn't be here using internet to talk. There's a lot of things that we wouldn't have. We wouldn't have bubble gum. We wouldn't have sticky notes. We wouldn't have all the comforts that we have today. We wouldn't have all the miracles that we have today. We wouldn't have the ability to have people have heart transplants. We wouldn't have any of the miracles that we enjoy. We wouldn't have. And to me, I think when we invite in that opportunity and we strive for those miraculous events, and a miraculous event could be, it's really relative to each of us, but we always need to strive for those things that they say we can't do and they say won't happen for us. And to me, it's all about getting around the right people who can impact that in your life and the right group who can help support that in your life. I'll turn it over to Matt and then have Clay pick up on it.
Yeah, man. I think listening to you say that, I immediately went to the words comfort zone. And I think you open up opportunities for miracles to happen when you force yourself to get out of your comfort zone. If you just kind of skate through life and you're comfortable with how everything is and you expect the status quo and you're happy with it, you're content, you're not rocking your own boat, what else more could there be? I've got my bases covered. That's one way to live life. And I'm not knocking people who live that way. I mean, if they're truly happy doing it, more power to you. Like, congratulations. I'm genuinely happy for you. But for me, I expect those miracles, and I know those miracles can and will only happen if I force myself to believe they can happen, but then I take action to make them happen. So I'll use real quick an example. I'd run ultras, and I first started out with 5Ks. It was like, okay, I could do more than that. And it was like a 10-mile run. I was like, that hurt. That was really difficult. Half a marathon. I was like, okay, that was cool. And then marathon. All right, what else is there? 50K. And I just kept getting uncomfortable. And those aren't miracles to run 50 miles or 65 miles. Like, plenty of people do that. But for me, who was never a runner, now 3 years later, where I'm like, coming up with an event here in May to support my sister-in-law who's going through some stuff, I'm planning on doing 65 miles to honor her. And, that's going to be a miracle event for me because I've done that once or twice. It's extremely painful. I know I'm going to suffer for 16 or 18 hours, but it's me getting out of my comfort zone. It's not me allowing myself to be like, oh, I did it once, I'm good. Like, every time I finish something where I didn't know if I could finish it, my mind immediately goes to, well, crap, if I did that, what else could I do? So you kind of just constantly move that finish line further and further for yourself. And as you do that, miraculous things continue to happen because you're pushing the boundaries, you're expanding your horizons. And in my opinion, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, it smiles upon you when you live like that and you have that mentality on a daily basis.
Yeah. Clay.
Yeah, man, I think miracle has happened all the time if you're open to it. You know what I mean? And whether you believe spiritually or not, or in God or religious or anything like that, when you just connect with the universe, you just start to see things. I haven't been religious my whole entire life or spiritual my whole entire life. But there were too many things in the world that had happened, especially with books, things that were put in front of me that I'm like, this just isn't a coincidence. So when you open your mind to the way the universe works, and again, it comes back to that awareness piece. When you open your mind to awareness, you understand that the more you become aware, the more you need to become more aware of the things that are around you. That's internally and externally. So it just comes back to that. To me, those miracles are just those things that you're willing and open to see. And I believe that you get the lessons when you need the lessons. And if you're open to it, you'll get it. But if not, you'll continue to get the lesson until you actually get the lesson. So
yeah. I mean, it can't just all be coincidence, right? And I look at the timing of the three of us coming together to lead this. I'd been bypassing opportunity for a little while, and it was intentional in my own big ticket life consulting business, because I have a very defined niche of who I serve there. And it means I bypass more opportunity than I get. And that's okay, because I want to work intentionally with very specific people. And I felt, I just don't have the bandwidth to help folks in a kind of a coaching way that they might have been asking for. But then the three of us come together, and I think the last 9 months or so, year of being in the Battlefield Alliance as a member was leading up to this moment. I could have called and dismissed Matt's request as just a coincidence, doesn't mean anything. But it really did mean something, because I know how we can help and how we can serve as a group and as a team. And I know that what we can offer can transform lives, and I know we can be impactful for sure. And you can see all that we do really at the battlefieldalliance.com. But I'd rather have one of our members tell you about what we do. And that would be Chris, if you could help us out again with clip number 4. This is one of our members, Ross. And he's talking about the value of leadership and who we look to help us grow.
Jeff is an example. And again, I'm not trying to fluff your ego, Jeff. It's just real easy because I had a conversation not long ago. You know,
I'm gonna bring my head in as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
I know. I'll give you like a virtual headlock to try and bring it down. But I mean, one of the things I know I talked with Jeff about, and you were explaining about how you created that licensing business and you create a passive income opportunity for yourself. I'm like, damn, that put my finger on that button. I want to create something like that. You know, I want to create a passive income stream, or, you know, talking about like the RV situation where you're like, hey, we got this getaway. I'm like, yep, I want a nature getaway. So I like surrounding myself with people that I value, because if they have a similar vision, but they've already gotten to a place.
I like that little jam there at the end that we got.
Right. Got my head banging.
Gets the people going. But, you know, as people, when we come together, the fourth, I believe we're at the fourth waypoint, if you will, on our roadmap for successful entrepreneurs. When we seek to share and listen collectively. And, you know, that what Ross was referring to in the video, that's when him and I came together one day. And it was just really about what two successful men are doing in their lives to lead their lives differently. And I think that's very powerful, that act of getting together to share and listen collectively as entrepreneurs. So Matt, I'll have you kind of talk. Well, I'll have Clay go first. Matt's gone first a couple times. We'll have Clay go first.
It reminds me of a lot of what we do in my business. Is the Purpose Infused Brotherhood and the 3M Fit Dad system is we gather, it's men. You know, we get together, we have the conversations that need to have. And the coolest thing about it is we're from all walks of life, from all faiths, from all religions, races, backgrounds, ethnicities, all that kind of stuff, socioeconomic status. And when we look at that, it's all about perspective. Like, my perspective is totally different from Matt and Jeff and to everybody listening to this and all of that. But the cool thing is I get to learn every time somebody talks. I get to learn every time somebody goes through this situation and gives that viewpoint, because really perspective is everything. And being able to have those conversations, not for persuasion, not for like, hey, this is right or this is wrong, but to have open conversations about things that sometimes are tough to talk about, things that are sometimes not, sometimes are controversial, sometimes we totally disagree. But in the end, the group of people in there, we all love and respect each other. And just like here, we're the Battlefield Alliance. We are a team. We are a group. We are like a squad that is together, and we can have all of those different things and perspectives allow each and every one of us to grow, to connect, to lead in such a bigger, better way than we could just by ourselves. I think, Matt, what you said it, you know, if you want to go slow, go alone. If you want to go far, or however you said that.
Go quick, go alone. Yeah.
Go quick,
Close
go
enough.
alone. It's something like that. But basically, guys, you can't.
We're going together.
You're joining forces, man.
That is. And that, again, that's the greatest. I just got that lesson last night. Again, Clay, you can't do it all by yourself. And it's a lesson I continue to keep getting over and over and over again in different ways. And it's one I always come back to. And it's just so important that we're here for you. We're here to support. We're here to give you those different perspectives, to open up and to connect you to other people with those different perspectives who have been in places where you want to go. And that may be us, and it may be some other members, and maybe Jeff, and maybe Matt, but that's what we're here for collectively, to all three of us give so much of that realm. It's incredible. And the value that comes with that you're able to take and use, because we're all about bringing value, but bringing usability. We're not going to give you things. We're not going to do things that aren't going to be valuable for you, for your business, and for your personal life, or usable. That's what we're all about. So, and just that collective thought here, not only with the three leadership guys, but also everybody else. in the Battlefield Mastermind. It's incredible.
I'll throw out a cliche that we've all heard before: hang around with 5 losers, become the 6th. Hang around with 6 or 5 successful people, become the 6th successful person. I think there's so much truth to that. It blows my mind to think about like who I used to be and now who I am today. And you look at like the different groups of people that I would hang out with throughout my life and like what's led me to here. It changes the game for you. And I think a phrase we often hear in other groups that we're part of is compressing time. And I think when you surround yourself with like-minded, high achievers, leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call them, who have maybe been a little bit further ahead of you or are right beside you or behind you, whatever it is, but you collectively learn amongst people who are heading in the same direction. You don't have to spend years figuring it out because you've got someone that you could, like Ross with you, Jeff, like place a phone call and be like, how'd you get there? Like, you know, the trial and error that he would have to go through if it was just him and the internet and some books could be years of time to get to where he wants to get. Or he calls someone like you who's been there and is like, hey, Jeff, this is where I want to go. You're kind of already there. Can you share some insights with me? It might be an hour conversation and you share so much value and so many insights with him that all of a sudden he's there on day 2 as opposed to year 2 because you've compressed all that time from with your experience, your insights, your leadership, and your willingness, like we talked about at the very beginning, to lead with your heart, to serve, and to want something bigger than yourself. You want to see him succeed, so you pour into him. It changes the game completely when you get in the right rooms with the right people.
Yeah. I mean, I'll put a nice little bow on this with 2 statements. More often than not, our ideas need a sounding board, right? And with what we're building here inside the Battlefield Alliance now, not only with our members, but with the 3 of us, you know, we're operating as a board within that sounding board. You know, we could take a vote on a member's idea, a new member's initiative, something that they're struggling with personally. And we could literally put it to a vote. Not that that might necessarily be the way, but it's the dynamic that we've created is these 3 distinct individuals coming together. And I'll say it again, I think it's the second or third time I've said, I've not seen something like this, which I think is what is most exciting about this opportunity for me. And what I'm most excited for our members is that the team of 3 working for our members together, because sometimes those best ideas that we have, and this is the second point I want to put it to wrap up this section with, is sometimes our best ideas are inspired by others, right? So maybe we're all sitting together at that first mastermind meeting we have June 14th and 15th in Lancaster coming up here, and Matt and Claire are talking about something, and I'm like, you know what? Yep. I remember somebody doing something like that over here. I remember somebody did it over there. And I remember what happened, and I can go back into the archives and bring forth that experience, or maybe it's my own, or we can tap into the collective. And it just becomes really, really powerful when you're working together in that way. It does compress time, and that's a cliched statement, but boy, if you're talking about that, looking at that countdown clock, as like Matt said, it's 40 seconds. If that's all you got left, you're going to wish you'd compressed a whole lot of time prior to that, for sure, 100%. So to kind of expand a little more, again, on the benefits of the 3 of us coming together, we'll in fashion as we've established, let's have Chris, if we could please, clip number 2 from Billy. He's talking about the benefits of the 3 of us as leaders in the Battlefield Alliance coming together. This call, you feel, have a different tone, different energy to it than our other calls?
I would say that, yeah, different vibe, like a different, it just felt a little bit more authentic, just like real.
Good.
I think we got to dig into, the focus of the call felt like you guys pouring value into the 3 of us and each of our situations more individually. That's what it felt like, versus like an open forum. It was like, all right, the 3 of you guys shared, your ideation on value, and then we got to apply it to the situations of Billy, Jeff, myself.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome.
We're going to get Jeffrey to a point where he can be on these calls and be flipping those cards and be able to talk and not be in the cubicle place.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, good. I don't have anything else for the good of the group. You guys do.
I just appreciate the hell of you guys being here and being able to be open to ask those questions. I think that's one of the biggest things too, is not only from us to be able to do that, but you guys feel comfortable enough to trust us with those questions. I think, so I just, we all just appreciate you being able to come to the table with those questions and ask.
Yeah. a little bit of background on that reel. The three of us come together, and immediately, as Billy said in that call, the tone and the impact of our calls really leveled up, right? And all of our existing members are going to benefit from the three of us coming together. We've made that clear, and I'll say it again. Nothing's changing with current members. We're adding new opportunities to work with us. All right. But everybody that's here currently, that rising tide of what we're bringing together, the three of us, is going to just lift everything, lift the experience. And so as we shift into that sixth point along the way, we've talked a lot about gratitude, right? That's been a theme, right? Being grateful. But I want to talk about what are the places that we create to actually practice it in our day? Like, how are you guys creating those places and those moments of gratitude, whether that's daily, weekly, monthly? How are you programming that into your day? From a tactical standpoint.
So I have a very structured routine to my day, and I have a document on the refrigerator. It's an Excel document with like 20 different items that I have to check off every single day. But I have a very rigid morning routine, which is wake up, come down, drink my water, and then immediately I meditate for 10 minutes. So that's a moment where I don't necessarily go through like a checklist of things I'm grateful for, but I'm just present in the moment, and I kind of open myself up to receive messages or to whatever I need to kind of gather from the quiet and still inside my home. From there, I read a daily devotional, which always has some kind of really good, powerful, positive message to it. After that, I read one, I don't know if it's a verse or whatever it is from the Bible. It's basically broken up into 365 days. So I read one day's worth. It's like 3 or 4 pages of the Bible. That's my opportunity to basically connect with God and just open myself up again to receiving his love, his message. But also it's my opportunity to give gratitude to him. And that's something I just started doing this year. And for years, I was born and raised Catholic, not to get into it, but I kind of lost my faith for many, many, many years. And then I was on a podcast with my buddy, and he said he has an active relationship with God. And I was like, what does that even mean? You have an active relationship with him? And I had this realization that my relationship first, even when I was younger, and then through the years where I kind of lost that touch, is very one way. It was like, when I need something, I pray to God. But like, I don't give gratitude. I don't give love on a daily basis. Only when I need something, I kind of go to him. So when I read the Bible, my daily devotional, and then I have like 5 pages of mantras and like my core values that I go over every day. But it was my opportunity on a daily basis to sit down and just like say to God in that indirect but very direct way, I'm super grateful for everything. And I'm giving you this 10 or 15 or 20 minutes of my day to start every single day of the week, every day of the year this year, just to show you how grateful I am. So, and then at night I go through, there's a thing called the G code. Jeff, you're familiar with it. It's the app. I lay in my bed and I type in 5 things I'm grateful for, my wins for the day, etc. But I start my day with gratitude and I end my day with gratitude. And I make sure I do that by having a checklist on my refrigerator that says, you got to get it done. Like without that, I feel lost on a daily basis if I don't do those things.
Yep. My routine, I do a morning and an evening routine. So the morning routine is designed to set intention for the day. Gratitude is not something I've always been good at. I was the worst person to talk to myself. We kind of always are in that. And, a ton of my growth has been extremely internal, diving into the shadow, diving into the purpose, diving into all the things I didn't like about myself, all that kind of stuff. And being really able to practice gratitude, just again, when I wake up in the morning and my eyes open, I'm like, yeah, that's right. I got today. Let's do this thing. And that's just exciting for me. Well, it starts my day off. Whereas before, being that busy dad at home, at work, being a teacher too, like it kind of gets crazy sometimes. But I would wake up and then just go. And then I had no intention for my day. But at the end of my day, I always felt lost. I always felt like I was stuck in this cycle. And gratitude was something that allowed to pull me back and create this great awareness about the universe around me, my connection spiritually with what I believe, and so forth. But at the beginning of every day, I set that intention. I work on visual. I've been an athlete my whole life. I work on visualization. So I sit on the edge of my bed every single morning, and I have built a space in my mind that is my space. I'm connected with kind of like the universe and some animals. My pets are there that used to be there, Abby and Millie and Sophie are there with me. And so I built this place in this space where my mind goes. I walk through the door. I built it. I think in the book, and I forget the author, but The Way of the Seal helps you develop that skill. So I go there. That's my place. I go and sit. It's beautiful. It's got a waterfall. It's open. It's got a mountain out, and I can see. It's got this awesome rainforest type deal, like my bookshelf back here, my 2 couches in there, my podium where I write, like all that kind of stuff. And I just go there every morning on the side of my bed, and I set intention for my day. And once I'm done with that and I'm ready, then I picture or visualize a line at my feet. And what it means, that line means everything I'm willing to show up as. That represents me, my purpose, and how I'm going to show up for the day. And when I'm ready, I step across that line. If I'm not ready, I do not step across that line, because when I step across that line, that means I'm willing and ready to leave every single thing on the field that day. Because at the end of the day, I have to step back across that line and put my head on the pillow and say, did you leave it on the field? And that goes back to that question we were asked at, where I cut out a little bit there, is like, millions of people didn't wake up. I did today. I got today. And if this is the last thing that I do in my life, I might fall down my stairs and break my neck walking upstairs after this. But if it is, I'm going to leave it all in the field right here, right now. So that way, at the end of the day, my family, if I don't make it up here today, my family knows I left it all in the field no matter what. So that's in the morning. But in the evening, I use the ARA sequence. That means assess, reflect, and adjust. So I assess what went right, what went wrong. Why did it go right? Why did it go wrong? And lots of times we miss out. We always focus on what went wrong. Well, we got to focus on what went right. And why did it go right? Because those are the habits we need to continue to create. And then what adjustments do I need to make tomorrow? So boom. One is morning intention, evening reflection, and then go to sleep, have a great night's sleep, wake up, be excited for the day.
Yeah. And I bet you when you don't execute, Clay, on your day, you don't sleep as well.
No, not at all.
Yeah. For me, those moments of gratitude, I kind of start in the morning. I spend a lot of time in the morning working on my time, myself. I have what I call a script a day. We're actually bringing forth something. The goal is to bring forth something to help you with all of this through the Battlefield Alliance. And guys, a little update, live update. I got another proof back. Looks really, really great. So I'll have to forward that to you after our time together today. But it just came through before we jumped on. But to me, when you create these places for gratitude, like I get down with gratitude around people. So one of the things I make it a point to do is connect with others, have one positive impact on somebody else in my day. That could be through a text message, an email, a call, a DM, just like, hey, I see you going through the struggle. You're not alone. Keep it up at the gym, right? I see you were out with your kids. I know that's been a struggle. That's really great. Happy for you. When you actively look to create places of gratitude and get around people, I really think that changes your life. And when you program that in, it becomes very powerful. And a lot of what we're doing is intentional here inside the Battlefield Alliance now, both with our current members and with new members and our connection and our growth level. If you really think about it, part of our onboarding process, we're going to straight up tell you, hack the system, and you can get these moments with us where you have that connection, which will lead to gratitude. And you'll be grateful for that opportunity to put the work in. You stepped across the line and you can come back across it feeling fulfilled. You'll be connecting with us at least on a once a week basis, sometimes 5 times a month. And that's really powerful when you can carve in these places and these moments for success, these places of moments of gratitude and connection. And it's in the last point is to seek out growing communities. Right. And we're asking you, we're inviting you rather, to be a part of this growing community. We've shown you a handful of reels. We don't just have 3 or 4 members. We've got a whole bunch more. And we are committed, the 3 of us, to growing this. But guys, for you, like, how do you see others seeking out growing communities? Why is that important to constantly be kind of refilling the water in the tank, if you will, right? Like if you think about refilling the water in a goldfish tank, you don't dump it all out, but you always got to put new in, right? So What's it about seeking new communities for you guys that makes sense?
But I think one of the cool things about seeking those communities is you also get to help build those communities. I know that's one of the things, with our Brotherhood community of men is our brothers help build the community, and we get to make the community like us. So we get to invite other guys, other men into the community. That's cool. We get to invite here other entrepreneurs into the Battlefield Alliance community, and we get to not only the leadership group, but every member gets to help build the community itself to be what they want it to be as well. And I think that's the coolest, exciting thing. So I always look for opportunities to be able to not only get around people of growth and that growth mindset, but also where I can contribute to help grow that community too, to make it bigger, to make it better, to make it more effective, and more efficient, and to create, again, not just ripples, but waves. And that's really what I love about the opportunity of getting into growth. I love the opportunity about the battlefield and building groups. That's why I love building groups.
Yeah, and I just look at it from like a personal, selfish perspective, which is the more I surround myself with people who inspire me and challenge me and kind of demand growth out of me, the better I do in life as a family, as a husband, a father, business owner, whatever that role is that I'm playing at that moment in time. I look to other people to keep me accountable and to help me continue to level up. Like, I've achieved a certain level of success in my life, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be in certain elements of my life and my future. And I know the only way I'm going to get to that next level in certain phases is by being around people who are either already there or who are also striving to get there. You are who you surround yourself with, plain and simple. So you got to get in the right rooms, because if you're not, you're going to try to go at it alone. You're probably going to drown, on your own, or you're with the wrong group and you're just going to get dragged backwards, which obviously isn't good for your future. So surround yourself with the right people and you'll be amazed how quickly your life can change.
Yeah. And Chris, in the background, again, Chris from Cast Ahead, fantastic support in this broadcast for us. We're going to have, I have a couple things to say, and then I'm going to have you pull up clip number 3 with Austin. But, to me, the idea of seeking out growing communities is that this idea works because all the people are aligned, right? No one's going to jump into the Battlefield Alliance or any other group, for that fact, any other program, any other development opportunity, if they're not connected to it. This is why we've spent this much time explaining what we're about. Because in a way, we're trying to create some magnetism and attraction, but in a way, we're also trying to create some repellent, right? Because when we get together in our growth level, when we get together and we come to work, and we've created those 3 events each year where you really look to connect and grow the business, we got to have the right people together because they're aligned. They're aligned with everything we've shared. We're all pulling in that same direction, speaking that same language. And really, we're coming together with the same set of ideals, values, and missions out of life. So let's play that clip from Austin number 3. And this kind of talks about what happens when we get together focused in a mastermind hot seat type environment.
Recommend another business owner who is in the Battlefield Alliance already to sit in a hot seat, and why?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because I knew that I'm not the only one that runs into problems like that. And the reason why I would want them to put in the hot seat is because you getting those different perspectives makes your mind thinking ways that you never thought of. Even as something as simple as culture. A lot of people would say, oh, yeah, I would have known that. But in reality, when you're trying to think of a problem, sometimes the simplest solution just isn't there for you. So you need somebody to just come in there who doesn't have like a full connection on it to let you know. So it's definitely beneficial for anyone, any business owner has any problem, to come in and ask the group just what they think. Worst thing that can happen is you're still in the same spot that you're at.
Yep.
So
and I think with all the collective minds in the room, that's pretty hard. The only reason that would happen is if you just stayed in the same spot with all of those. Yeah. So you chose to do that.
Right.
Awesome.
So, for me, my biggest secret, if somebody, said to me, Jeff, I want one secret to your success, it would be that mastermind collective, a group of aligned individuals coming together for a common objective. And that's to solve their problems, discuss opportunities, maximize opportunities, collaborate, right? It's all in the objective is growth and opportunity to put pain behind them and move forward. And so, if you're looking ahead in 2023, right, staring into a cloudy crystal ball, as a lot of people are, looking for some answers, trying to understand, what the heck's this economy doing? What are my employees thinking? I've got this opportunity. I just don't know quite what it means for me. The time that we've shared together today, I hope connects with you. We've had a handful of people tuning in. Sean, I haven't had the opportunity to acknowledge you yet in comments, but we appreciate you watching and being with us today. We had somebody else, a random user, that said "damn straight." So yes, thanks for the accolades. We like that. But this roadmap really guides our time together. Battlefield Alliance is not a BNI. It's not like other referral groups. Those places, those groups have place in the world for sure, and you can do them and our thing and them and other things. But to us, this group is about your growth. It's about your leadership at home, and it's about developing you as a better leader. And so we'll bring up on the page now our member benefits page so you can see it as we're broadcasting it. But Matt, why don't you take off a little bit of what happens inside the connections level, which kind of frames everything we work together, and then growth is the level above. So Matt, you take the lead on what happens inside of connections with our members.
Yeah, so basically you join the connections, you're getting access to the leadership team. We are doing a group call every month, which when I was doing this by myself, you probably heard my daughter up there just yell my name, sorry. When I was doing this by myself, the group calls were kind of haphazard. It was like, oh, we're going to jump on a call and like, I hope this adds some value. And that was one of the reasons why I joined forces with Clay and Jeff. I was like, I got to add more value. Like, we have to have intention behind these group calls. Those group calls, the last 2 or 3 we've done collectively together, have been super powerful. I've learned from them. So you get a group call, you get a guest speaker call. Yeah, all these things here. You get an introduction, you get access to our private Facebook group. We're sending out some cool welcome gifts. At the end of each group call, we're sending out a reflection survey to basically ask you, like, what can we do better? We're checking in with you once a month. We're sending out a quarterly book, which is personal development or leadership related. You get that emergency call up to 15 minutes once per month with one of us in the group or the leadership team, or maybe 2 of us, depending on what your needs are. So there's a lot of stuff you're getting in that connection level for $199 a month. I look at it as, if you spend $2,400, let's call it, for a year, and you actually do the work inside this group with us, and you jump on these calls, you create these connections. Obviously, you don't want to guarantee it, but like, I can guarantee you your life will change for the better, whether it's just your personal life, whether it's business growth, whatever that looks like to you, whatever another level of success looks like to you. I can guarantee you that if you're in the right room and you're actually doing the work, don't join and show up, 1 call out of every 6 calls and don't read the books that we send you. Join and actually do the work and put effort forward. Your life will drastically change at that most basic connection level for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all the success you want in life is the hard work you're avoiding. And often I shouldn't even qualify it as hard work. It's the work you're just avoiding. Avoidance behavior is a massive pandemic in this society, and it's the thing that holds back success for so many people. So yeah, connections really frames our work together. We do that group call. We have a guest call. You have a monthly check-in with us. You have a monthly 911 call. And that's where I said a few minutes back, if you kind of think about how you hack your time with us, there's 4 opportunities in the month to work with this team of 3. So once a week. And I know of no other program at that level and investment that offers that kind of connectivity together for that value. And we really believe that value is important. My heart is in small business. And that's why I'm proud to be a part of the group here. So connections level frames what we do. We build upon it with our growth level. And our growth level, I'll let Clay, if that's all right, Clay, if you want to talk about what we do in growth, what the kind of differences are and what the add-ons are.
100%. Yeah. And I think, our growth level is kind of like at tier 2. So as a teacher, you got tier 1, you got tier 2. It's at that level 2. And with growth membership, you get all of the connections, all of that value. So anything that's in that connections, you get that. But above that, I think one of the biggest things is you get 3 in-person mastermind type group events throughout the year. And that is like the hugest value, because you get all 3 of us in person. And I think that the value for that itself is incredible. With that too, you have the process that we go through is right away. You're going to have an onboarding call with at least 2 of us. And in that onboarding process, you're not only going to have your first check-in there, it's going to be able to break down. You're going to get 2 check-ins per month. We're going to give you video feedback on that every single month about your business, what's going on, how that's working, what are you going through. But you're going to get our time, 2 of us on that onboarding process and that onboarding call, our time specific to your business to say, hey, here's where you're at, where do you want to go? And then we're able to provide those actionable steps for you to be able to take. And then each of those check-in pieces throughout the month, each one of those 2 check-in pieces throughout the month, you are able to get our feedback right away with that information to help keep leading you towards that path and that goal you set, that piece that you want, that achievement you want to hit, that impact you want to make. Every single month you get those things. So again, that's the check-in process. The onboarding process, you get that initial check-in, you get that onboarding call, you get those 3 in-person mastermind events. You get a monthly book in the mail as well with it. You get a 200 value plus dollars for your welcome pack in the mail as well that's coming for you. And again, what I've seen with investments that I have made, things like that, we have a $4.99 investment monthly for access to all of that stuff. And the value, again, we're all about value and usability. The value, usability, and efficiency that we have created is part of nothing I have ever been a part of. And I'm super excited for our growth members to be able to start that to go through, start that process and really just, grow, connect, lead like nobody's business. So super excited for that.
Yeah. And before I give my thoughts and we look to wrap up our time on, again, putting the bow on what I find unique about the Battlefield Alliance, and I hope you would too, we'll play our last clip from Ross. Chris, this would be clip number 1 about the impact, because there's got to be direct impact. So we'll hear from Ross on what that was for him.
I had a phone call with you that basically got me right back on track, and it was maybe a 30-minute chat. And for me, value, like when I Google value, it says regard that something is held to deserve importance, worth, or usefulness of something. Then the second definition is principles, standards of behavior, one's judgment of what's important. And I think you sharing your values of your personal belief and also helping me to shed what I thought other people's values would be made my business explode. So I wanted to say thank you on that. And then to piggyback on your point of, don't practice on paying customers. I had a free customer. So the first person I helped, I didn't charge. I had somebody I charged like 1/20th my actual rate. And then after I had those 2 kind of trial run, I got full paying people. I already almost doubled my income from when I was at a private equity firm. So I wanted to use that time to say, thanks.
So we're doing real work in here, right? And as I said, the work that you're not doing is directly equates to the success that you don't have, right? Everything you want's behind the work that you're willing to put in and do. And again, what I find unique about the Battlefield Alliance here is that it is the 3 people on your screen. You've got 3 unique people coming together with very different skill sets, but yet very aligned hearts and minds to affect people. And doubling income is great, like it was for Ross. Making the right connection for Carrie at the right time, that's impactful. Helping Billy power through on that day. We didn't necessarily show you that reel, but you could go to our YouTube channel. It's on there. You'll hear it and see it. That's the kind of impact we're looking to have, that opportunity for deeper connection and insight into the team, and to bring these diverse perspectives from different walks of life all together in a room, in a group, and have those connections. And look, you can have access to our private Facebook group. You can have access to each other. You have access to us through the group as well. But, what's so unique is that the 3 of us bring different ways to teach, lead, and connect. So you're not investing in just one thought leader. It's the collective of the 3 of us. And, this growth level membership really is true to the essence of the mastermind experience, which is the secret to my success. I've been practicing in masterminds for about 15 years, leading them, facilitating them, participating in them. But the concept as you see it today, the word mastermind thrown around today, yes, when people get together in a group for a common objective, that can activate the mastermind experience, but it's only when you're together with the same values, only when you're together in the same space, place, whether that's a screen like this or a room that we put together 3 times a year. When we get together with that intentionality and without the distilled and watered down versions that we see prevalent, that's where the change happens. And that's where the real secrets and the real impact comes to life and comes into play. And that's what we're looking to have happen for you here in the Battlefield Alliance. So again, we have our connections level. I'll just quickly reiterate, that's a monthly group call where one of us leads a subject matter talk, and then there's Q&A. We have great guest speakers come in. Again, they lead a talk, and there's opportunity for Q&A together. You have that check-in with us. You have that 911 call with us. There's some other really great things that go with that and around it, but those are like the core meat on the bone deliverables. We do big tip lunches where we change, really kind of come in and bless people in a moment. We all gather if you're local to the area and help people out that really need it in the moment. It's kind of neat how that happens. That's not coincidental. This Saturday, we're going out into the community to help the homeless. I'm positive some good stuff's going to happen there because it's not just coincidental. And it's not just coincidental that you're catching this today live as we recorded, or in the future when you happen to pick it up and listen to it or watch it or catch this part of the reel or the short, wherever you might find us online. And it's not coincidental. There's a reason why you're predisposed for success, and there's a reason why you're connected to the people who can help you get there. And I think the 3 of us really are able to help you affect that success and change in your life. And with that, I think that's what I have to say. Matt, Clay, anything in closing to add?
I want to say one thing here real quick, because I know we talked a lot about business owners, entrepreneurs throughout the calls, kind of like the audience that we were speaking to. And I think in the growth membership level, it's probably best served for entrepreneurs and business owners because of that extra emphasis when meeting in person and growing a business or solving problems like that. But I truly feel in my heart that at the connection level, that's for anybody and everybody that is a high achiever or wants to be a leader. So you don't have to be a business owner. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. If you want to achieve things in life and you want to be a leader in life, that connection level can help you get there. So if you're watching this or you're thinking like, oh, I don't own a business, I don't have, I don't want to start a business, this isn't for me. That's not the case. Like, this is for anybody who is motivated, willing to put in the work, and has big goals for themselves professionally, personally, spiritually. Like, we all collectively between our leadership team, we all have experience in all the different places in life. So it's not just a business mastermind or business group. It can be for anybody who wants to level up in life, especially at that connection level. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with that. And again, if you're listening to this and you are that entrepreneur, you're that leader, you're that manager, you're that person who is in a position that leads others, or your family, if you're in that position, or a coach, when you're looking at that and you really want to grow, you really want to connect, you really want to lead, to level up yourself personally and professionally, this is the space for you. And you're going to be able to do that with not only 3 leaders, but you're also going to be able to do that without wasting time, without doing all this kind of stuff that's not going to be productive and not be valuable. But also, most importantly, it's going to be able to allow you to grow, connect, and lead yourself so you can be better for yourself, but be better for your community, your family, and everybody around you. So if that's you, then we're ready.
Join us.
Yep. We'd love to have you. And you go to thebattlefieldalliance.com. Connections members, you can just sign right up. Growth members, we have you do an application. We review it. If you're a fit, we have the activation fee, and then it's $4.99 a month thereafter. But we're going to enact that plan across the 10 pillars that we see for success and lay that out for you. And then we're going to get to work. And like we said, the success you want's on the other side of that work that you're not doing. We're going to help you get there. And thank you so much for tuning in, Clay, Matt. It's been a pleasure to share this time with you. And if not for anything, I think we delivered a lot of goodness that when people hear it, they can take some away and have their own impact right away with it. So thank you for sharing this time with me. And we'll see you on the battlefield.